My name is Justin Wheeler, and I'll be showing you my level for Level Design 1. I created a script for my girlfriend to read because I caught a cold and it's hard for me to talk right now because of my throat. So, let's get started.
I decided to go with this particular setting as far as the sky and the fog because it complements the terrain well in my opinion. I placed the player directly facing the sun because it felt right. From the player's start location, you can see one of the pillars just right at the player's original view and another pillar on the left side. And then, if you look straight past the tower, you can see a faint green glow. When I get close to the first pillar, it lights up a light pink color and will display a custom text on the screen after I collected it. Just past this pillar is a wall of rocks. You can peek behind the rocks and see a hang glider, but it cannot be reached at this time in the game. Overlooking the hang glider, if you can mount the rock wall with little effort, is a broken bridge, a separated island, and some pillars off in the distance. You can notice how some of the buildings can be moved through, but not all. I briefly thought about adding in interactable doors so that all of the buildings would be accessible, but came to the conclusion that it was out of scope, considering that I would have had to change the assets to make the walls prettier inside. Coming up on the second pillar now, you can see that this pillar glows a light blue color and then displays a different text after collected. I had modified the code so that each collectible item would display a unique text opposed to every item I collect saying, "You have collected an item," or something along those lines. Moving on. Just right of the second pillar, you can see a third pillar that is constantly lit in a neon green color. I decided to make this pillar constantly lit as opposed to lit only when the player is close to it because it is placed at a lower elevation than the previous two pillars in the player's start location, and I wanted to emphasize the location of the pillar since it didn't seem blatantly obvious that the player could traverse there. Like the two previous pillars, once this pillar is collected, a custom message will display on the screen. Now, I originally wanted to make this rock slide a trigger event that would have dropped the rocks into place when the player was getting close, adding a sense of danger and excitement where one was lacking, but realized it was out of scope with what else had to be done. The rock slide leads to a path that I designed to lead up to the town before the rock slide shrouded it. If you follow the path all the way down, you'll find 6 odd pillars that surround a shallow hole in the ground. If you look into the hole, you can barely see that there is a stone base that covers the top of the hole. However, I created an invisible boundary that makes this unreachable until all other collectible items have been collected. If I had had more time, I would have liked to create a force field texture animation that tells the player that they cannot enter the area at this time. Heading back the way that I came, you can see that the final pillar is a little off the path, hidden below the mountain range. This pillar will glow a bright, blinding yellow that is designed to blind the player. Seeing as it's the final pillar, I wanted to mix things up a bit by experimenting with the different range and intensity variables. For this pillar, I added a second line of text because what I originally wanted to write didn't fit on the screen with just one line. Now, heading back to the hole in the ground, you can see that the player can actually enter the area. You'll notice that the area will light up a golden color, and unlike other items in this level, this item is not destroyed once interacted with. I also used the second line of text here to prompt the player to head back to where the hang glider is located. Heading back to the hang glider is where I would have added some enemies, if I had had more time, seeing as this is the dullest part of the game. As you can see, the main rock that was hiding the hang glider has now disappeared. A bright white light will illuminate the hang glider until the player moves closer to it, which jumps to the end menu screen. I had originally planned on creating an end cinematic, but couldn't find the time in my current schedule to make this happen. Thank you for watching.
Okay, thank you.